What's up, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in. You're now tuning in my podcast. I'm SF Johnny, Seriously Focused Johnny. You were tuned in to Difficult People Chronicles. Today's episode is called Is He or She For Me? I have a question for y'all to think about. What are some of the ways you can tell if a person is for you? And I'm going to start off with this. So, I would say, I would say a few months ago, I was somewhat beating myself up, which I shouldn't have, but I did. Because to me, whatever happened was a big ordeal. It was. And I had to go to God in prayer, ask God for forgiveness. So there was a female that I was around at one time, and she was telling me about her cousin that was going through some things. And he was really going through it. I mean, he was going through it. It's like he couldn't get a break. It was like one situation after the next situation after the next situation. And this was years ago, before I even knew the gift that God had given me. So she came to me and she said, "Oh, can we pray for him and X, Y, and Z?" And then I said, "Okay." So she and I, we prayed. hmm It wasn't until, I would say, was it this year? Beginning of this year? No, sorry. It was last year. It wasn't until last year when I ran into a family member of theirs. And I was like, "Oh, how is such and such?" And, how is that person doing and all this other stuff. Come to find out, the story that the cousin done told me, the female cousin done told me, was a lie. Her male cousin was going through judgment. He was going through God's judgment. And the reason why I say that is because as I was listening to the story, I started putting all the pieces together from the cousin that was telling me, and then I was just like, "Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it." We talking about a man who had two and three girlfriends and had a job, but his main source of income was using women, and he had it sewn down to the T, where these women lived in different states. He knew exactly what he was doing. He would have one woman call her his fiance or whatever, put money in a bank account. They put money in a bank account, joint and all that, saving up to get married. And it was a distance relationship. And then all of a sudden, they start getting into big arguments and they never get married. But it was a pattern that he did with all these women. hmm I found out now through the cousin that he's gay. But he did this to all these women. And then the female cousin knew what he was doing. Why? Because I feel like she was probably benefiting off of whatever game he was playing. I always say there's a price to pay for the games you play. There is a price to pay for the games you play. Because when God catches with you, He is not going to be playing with you. He's not. He's not going to be a contestant. He's not going to be shuffling cards. He's not going to be sitting at the table. God is not going to be playing with you when you're playing that game. And this guy played this game down to the T. And as I was listening to the story, I was like, "Oh my goodness." Like, none of these women would have been able to find out about each other because of his game. But a lot of times, it always comes to an end. Because man will not see what's going on, but God sees everything. And what he was going through was judgment. So then, me and this female cousin sitting there praying about him, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, his situation going from bad to worse." That's basically what happened to this person. Because even though we prayed, his situations was getting worse. hmm His whole situation was the cost. You heard that was my water bottle. So I'm on point with this. His situation was the cost of what he did to all those women. hmm Because you know God is serious when it comes to marriage. God is very serious about when it comes to marriage. He painted the picture like he was in love with these women and they in sync and all this other stuff. And it was just like ever so often, like say a year or a few months, um, he's on to a new woman. Talking about he looking for the right one. When the whole time he's gay. hmm And then God dealt with him. The same card that he handed out to all those women, God tore that card up and dealt with him. So I felt bad. Let me tell you why I felt bad. I felt bad because I wasted my time praying for him, praying for a situation that was not accurate. And I went to God in prayer and I said, God, forgive me of my sins, known and unknown. Yeah. I said, people got to be kidding me when they think that God doesn't exist. People got to be kidding me when they think Jesus doesn't exist. People in this world, it's like they doing so much dirt. They oppressing good people, good-hearted, hard-working people. They stealing from people. They even trying to stop people's career, their life. They even playing with what God ordained, marriage. Do all sorts of craziness and trying to live off of other people, and all they got to do is work. Like homeboy had a job. He had a job. But every time you turn around, he taking off from work. Or he trying to find some way to rip off the company. And the same thing he was doing to the company, he doing to all those women. We talking about women that got great jobs, because a lot of them had good jobs. They had great jobs. They have kids, have their own roof over their head, but they wanted to get married. And this man sold them a story and then walked off with their money, bringing drama to their life. That's why I say you got to go to God in prayer and ask God, who's the person standing in front of you? Because if that person ain't meant to be with you, then so be it. They ain't meant to be with you. Do not make a person who ain't meant to be with you be with you. Because you will be miserable. You will. And that's what he did. He painted that picture exactly what they wanted. And they didn't go looking for him. hmm After I heard the story from the cousin, I was like, that's crazy. He'll see a person at a function or meet a person on the airplane. hmm And then came the investment in a story that was a lie. Cause marriage was never gonna happen with him. Cause he liked men. But he needed to keep up his lifestyle. And he did that off of the pocketbooks of women. So that's a short story for y'all. And that's one of the reasons why I say go to God in prayer. Ask God who's the person standing in front of you. Ask God what you should pray about. Ask God for direction. You don't want people to be giving you the wrong information because they jealous or envious of you. Test the spirit. When people come to you with certain advice about certain things and you know that person's shady, but they coming to you with advice all of a sudden smiling in your face. Meanwhile, you turn around and they side eyeing you. Who's that person? Go to God in prayer. Because sometimes they trying to take you down that rabbit hole. That's dark and slippery. So that's it for today. Love me more and I love you more. Sign up for a session. Check me out on YouTube. Like, subscribe. Click the notification. For suggested topics, email me. Love me more and I love you more. Later.